line all right?
It's not good, but we can hear you.
Right.
That
Hopefully we won't have to ask a lot from you. I think it's pretty evident on this case. All right. Anything we need before we get started here?
I don't think so. Everyone got my motion, right?
I did.
Yes, I believe so.
All right. Let's be on the record, case number 2020 CR209, caption State of Kansas versus, lost the first name there.
Scott.
Scott Hollingshead-Reichle. Would the parties announce their appearances, please?
May it please the court, Your Honor, State of Kansas appears through Assistant District Attorney Mark Brinkworth.
May it please the court, defendant via Zoom with his attorney also via Zoom.
All right. We are here set down for a sentencing today. We all got together in a similar manner back on July 24th. At that time, the defendant changed his plea from one of not guilty to guilty. I talked to him about that, accepted his plea, ordered a pre-sentence investigation, and set it for sentencing today. I've received that pre-sentence investigation. The critical findings are as follows. The sole count of conviction is one of violation of Offender Registration Act. That is a severity level 6 person felony. The defendant's criminal history score was found to be that of D. That would leave him with a sentence that presumes prison and a presumed term of 32, 34, or 36 months. If he has to do that time, he'll be eligible for 15% good time credit and subject to a post-release supervision duration of 24 months. This is a special rule case number 46, which is the violation of the Offender Registration Act. If Mr. Hollingshead is granted probation today, it would be for a period of 24 months to community corrections. Mr. Brinkworth, I'd ask you, did you have an opportunity to review this pre-sentence investigation? Do you have any additions, corrections, or challenges to those findings?
Judge, I do not have any additions or corrections to the findings, Judge.
Mr. Rocky, same question.
Judge, I sent it to my client and I did not get a call from him, so I'm assuming he did not have any objections to the PSI, but I suppose we should ask him.
All right. Now, do you go by Mr. Hollingshead or Mr. Reichle?
Mr. Hollingshead.
Okay. All right. So your attorney tells me he sent you this pre-sentence investigation for you to take a look at, see if you thought there were any errors in the calculation of your criminal history. Did you have a chance to do that?
Yes, sir.
All right. And do you feel like it's accurate, or do you feel like there's any mistakes in there?
No, it looks pretty accurate from what I can remember anyway.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll find there are no challenges to the findings of the pre-sentence investigation and adopt the findings thereof for this hearing. Mr. Rocky, you filed a motion for a downward dispositional departure. I've reviewed that motion. Would you like to be heard on it today?
Judge, I would stand on the motion.
All right. Mr. Brinkworth, any comments as to Mr. Rocky's motion or anything else touching upon sentencing today?
Judge, just ask that you follow the terms of the plea agreement.
All right. Mr. Hollingshead, you have an opportunity to tell me anything you want me to know in mitigation of your sentence today. You're not required to, but I certainly would be happy to hear anything you have to say.
I really don't have nothing to say, Judge.
All right. Well, Mr. Rocky, any legal reason why I should not now proceed to sentencing?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Well, I'm going to grant the motion for a downward dispositional departure. I will adopt as the substantial and compelling reasons for that departure those listed in the defendant's motion. I do find that they satisfy that standard. Based on that, I am going to sentence Mr. Hollingshead to a period of 34 months in the Department of Corrections. If he has to do that time, he'll be eligible for 15% good time credit and subject to 24 months of post-release supervision duration. His application for probation is considered and it is granted to community corrections for a period of 24 months. Mr. Hollingshead, I see you're in your car there. Are you working these days?
Yes, sir.
All right, good deal. So roughly in a month, what do you think you take home?
Right now, I have job support that comes out of my check, and another deal that just started coming out of my check. So
All right.
with all that, I roughly have $800
Okay.
come
And
home pay.
you own a home or rent one?
No, rent
Okay. And how much is that rent?
600 a month. But
Mm.
I'm married, so my wife works.
Okay. All right. All right.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last comment he said.
He said that he's married and
Oh.
that his wife works. All right. Well, it seems like, and I assume that's plenty to meet your rent and food bills and all that with a little bit left over. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. We get by.
All right. All right. Given that, I'm going to assess the court costs and supervision fee. Mr. Rocky, do you know what your attorney fees are going to be?
Judge, I'm pulling that up right now. They go 250,
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
80250.
Okay. All right. I will assess $200 of those fees towards the defendant and waive the rest as well as the bids fee. It's marked that he needs to pay the database fee, but I see that there's a recent Kansas felony on his record, so he should already be in that database. He won't need to pay that. I'm not going to fine him anything today. So those will be the sum total of the costs and fees.
Judge, I didn't
Um,
understand. Did you were waiving the bids fee or that you were assessing? The
No,
bids
I'm
fee?
assessing the bids fee. I'm sorry. Assessing the bids and $200 of your fee. I think that it sounds like an order, if he's going to be on probation for 24 months, an order that he pay $100 a month should make him able to meet all of those things well before he's off probation. Mr. Hollingshead, do you feel like if I order $100 a month payment, that's something you could make?
Yeah, I could, because I do side jobs once in a while too. So
Good, good. The faster you get it paid off, look, I can't tell you that you'll get off probation early or anything like that. But if you ever are looking for that, having that all paid off as fast as you could is always a good thing. All right, so that's going to be the court's order, $100 a month. Mr. Hollingshead, you have 14 days from today to appeal anything you don't like about your sentence. You also might have the right to seek expungement of this conviction after a period of time following successful completion of probation. As a convicted felon, it's prohibited for you to own or possess a firearm and certain kind of deadly cutting instruments like dirks, daggers, switchblades, basically knives that could be considered deadly weapons. I won't go through the whole list. If you need to, Mr. Rocky can probably advise you further about that. But basically, my point today is before you decide to arm yourself or own or possess any kind of weapon like that, make sure you talk to a good lawyer like Mr. Rocky. Make sure it wouldn't be reason to revoke a probation or add new charges. Okay?
okay.
All right. Mr. Brinkworth, anything I failed to cover today?
Judge, just that he gets 2 days of credit towards the underlying sentence, and then also to remind him that he is still required to register.
Yeah. Okay. So he gets his jail time credit. Mr. Rocky, do you think that's accurate? 2 days?
Yeah, he wasn't in that long, Judge.
Okay. All right. He'll be granted that jail time credit. Mr. Hollingshead, this is not a registrable offense here, but you're still under that requirement from the old felony to register. So you need to make sure, these are difficult cases, right? A lot of times people are avoiding registering as a felon, but oftentimes I think they're just kind of not on top of it. All right. But it's a very serious felony and almost always lead to a presumption of prison. So make sure that you know exactly what your registration requirements in those other cases are and that you follow them so you don't have to go through this again. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Hollingshead. Mr. Rocky, anything I failed to cover?
Don't believe so, Your Honor.
All right. If there's nothing else, we will be adjourned. Good luck to you, Mr. Hollingshead.
Can I say one thing?
Thank you. Now,
Sure. Carrie, what do you need?
I had sent you the number real quick for community corrections. Just want to make sure he knows where to report to.
Aha. Okay. So here's what I want you to do, Mr. Hollingshead. As soon as you get an opportunity to, sometime today, I need you to call this number. You got something to
let me
write it
get
down?
my pen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
573-4180.
0.
And
Okay.
tell them that that's community corrections. You tell them you got sentenced today and granted probation to them. They're going to give you instructions of how to get in and see them and all of that stuff. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Carrie, for reminding me of that. All right. Anything else?
Judge, your audio had skipped out when you were actually pronouncing the sentence. Did you give him the mid box on that?
I did.
All right, thank you.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
Nothing further.
You're,
Who was that?
excuse me, Judge.
Yep.
Will community corrections tell me how much the fine is that I owe?
Yeah, there's no fine, but there are other costs. They will go through you. I'm going to submit to them what's called a cost sheet. They will go through it with you and kind of set up your budget and stuff like that. And if you find that $100 a month is going to be something you can't make, they'll work with you to try and get it all paid off. Okay.
Okay.
All righty. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you, you too.